and Toyota dealerships serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees, so fair. Today is Monday, the 7th day of March 2022, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable weekend. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you're a pedestrian or a cyclist or operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember, the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, or if you celebrated one over the past few days, a belated happy birthday to you. Those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to express our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing as well. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility, we wish you a speedy recovery. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I'm your host, Ort Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, we have our phone lines open. Beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting to take your calls. Those calls can be made by calling us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And, of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. This morning on the first segment of the show, we will be discussing Women's Month, being celebrated not only here in the Cayman Islands, but I believe throughout the world, as well. And that discussion is going to take place with Miss Neandra Thompson, who's a parent facilitator at the Family Resource Center. Also with us, Ms. Miles Ruby, who's also a parent facilitator at the Family Resource Center, and well-known doctor in the Cayman Islands, Dr. DeAlvis. Folks, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. And I believe we have another guest that we're going to be bringing into the studio as well. So while we do that, what I'm going to do, despite the fact that I have introduced you so far, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves as well and say something, about Women's Month in the Cayman Islands at the same time, starting with you, Ms. Thompson.
Okay. My name is Leandra Thompson. Thank you so much for having me. Today we're very excited to, be launching Honoring Women's Month, and we have various events and initiatives that we're excited to be having and speaking about with you today.
Okay.
Good morning. Thank you for having us. My name is Miles Ruby. I am a Parent Facilitator 1 at the Family Resource Center. And again, we are very excited to be here to share with the audience all the different events that we're hosting to help raise funds for our Young Parents Program throughout the month of March as we honor women. And we look forward to sharing all those wonderful events with you and the audience.
Okay, Dr. DeAlvis.
Good morning to you. Thank you very much. Good morning to the listeners of Radio Cayman, cancer survivors, the members of staff, and Ms. Thompson and Miles Ruby. It's a great honor to be invited to be present with you today and say a few words. Women's Month. I consider it a great honor, and thank you so much for inviting me.
Okay. So, we want to start off with you, Ms. Ruby.
Sure, absolutely. This year we'll be celebrating the 23rd anniversary of Honoring Women's Month in the Cayman Islands. It is an international public awareness campaign, and every year they come up with a new hashtag, and this year it's hashtag Break the Bias. And so it's all about breaking the bias and the gender norms around inequality and women, and we're really looking forward to the events this month as we help women empower each other and help the community understand how they too can help empower women, in our community in the Cayman Islands, not just worldwide. And so we have over 20 events. So we're very busy this month. We call it March Madness at the Family Resource Center, because on top of all the other services that we provide, we're also certified parenting coaches, and we provide parenting programs and a lot of different needs around domestic violence and the young teen program that we are raising funds for. And so it's just a lot of fun to be able to wear different hats and come out and support the community and our women and try to get them to get involved and to bring about awareness as how can we break these gender biases and empower women. And so this year we do have quite a few events, as I said, and we also have a Strike the Pose social media challenge, and every year, along with the hashtag, we have a pose. And so this year, anyone who takes a picture and strikes the pose and follows the guidelines for following the Family Resource Center and hashtag Break the Bias KY, they can be entered into a contest for a big grand prize of a staycation. I believe it's at the Kimpton. And so we just want to bring about awareness and show people that, anyone can do it. It can be men, it can be women, it can be children, especially young girls. So that's the first thing that we're doing. We already had a rock and roll bingo night, which was very successful to help raise funds again for the Young Parents Program. And we're also trying to encourage people to dress for a cause day. Again, the proceeds will help to raise funds for the Young Parents Program, which is for our teenage parents, for the young mothers, fathers, and their babies. And we try to encourage them through the program to learn parenting skills, employability skills, and to provide the support that they need, trying to break some cycles that might be generational, and to give them a hand up, not a hand out. And so the program does require a lot of money to run, and so this is our way to help supplement that.
Okay. Now, I know that COVID has, changed how we do business, how we interact in the Cayman Islands. As far as your plans are concerned, with the changes in the regulations, how has that helped to facilitate some of the things, the events that you're planning in terms of person-to-person interaction?
Well, we learned to grow as, the need was there, and we had to get creative, and we do a lot of telehealth, via video or phone, with our clients and with groups now, so we can actually reach more people that may necessarily not have been able to come into the Family Resource Center, especially because of barriers they might have for transportation or childcare. Most of our evening programs, we do offer, a light dinner and childcare if we can, so that we can remove those barriers. But as far as the events that we're having, we're very grateful that the restrictions have been lifted, so that we can have our Honoring Women's Month Color Me Purple 5K and not be worried about going over the number for those individuals outside, and as well as inside too, because some of our events are indoors. Mm-hmm. So we're very mindful of that. We're still practicing the protocol with the social distancing and wearing masks, and if we're inside, and also hand sanitizing wherever we can, because we want everyone to feel safe and be able to enjoy the events when they are attending.
Okay. Now tell us about some of the events that have already. You did mention them that have already taken place, and like for instance, today, what should we expect today? What's planned to take place today as well, Ms. Thompson?
Okay. So we do have some very exciting events that we're planning to have and launch, and I want to bring up our mentorship program launch on March 11th. We're very excited about that. Okay. This initiative is a partnership between the Family Resource Center and the Portfolio of Civil Service, and it's based on the premise of gender equality, and it sits nicely with the theme of empowered women. So this initiative is going to follow that basic mentorship structure. And, we're targeting women to start off with, not limited to just female leaders, but, a combination of women across the civil service that can be mentors and mentees. So for the launch of this event, we'll have our senior leaders, such as our chief officers and our deputy chief officers, to identify women within their portfolio that can serve as potential mentors and mentees. And what brought this mentorship, to focus is that we're seeing an increase in young women entering the civil service, and and needed that support and further guidance. So this mentorship program is meant to create opportunities to provide that support for one another. So that's one of our exciting events, initiatives that we'll be having once again on March 11th, our mentorship program.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation about honoring Women's Month in the Cayman Islands, the month of March, will continue, so please stay tuned.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Since its early beginning, the Cayman Islands tourism product has targeted middle to upper class segments. In 1949, Benson Greenwald, a wealthy British visitor, began construction on the empty West Bay beach of the Galleon Beach Hotel with 12 rooms. Greenwald was instrumental in the passage of the Caymanian Hotel Aids Law of 1950, which provided exemptions from import duties and taxes for anyone building a hotel with more than 10 rooms. Along with the Galleon, the new law kick-started the development fury with Marin's Seaview Lodge and Pageant Beach Hotel. By 1960, there were 9 hotels, clubs, and guest houses in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Hello, boys and girls. I'm Zara. If you are students in Cayman between 3 and 16 years old and love reading books like I do, welcome to the first Rotary Central Video Book Report competition. Record your short video, no more than 90 seconds, on why you love your favorite book, what made you excited, or what made you laugh. There are lots of fabulous prizes. Too many to talk about now. For further information and sign up, go to Rotary Central Cayman Islands Facebook page or email david.rotarycentral@gmail.com. Record your book report video and send it by March 31st. So easy, so fun. The Rotary Central Cayman Islands Video Book Report Competition. Rotary serves to change lives.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vant Motors has 3 great reasons why you should own the Toyota CHR. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven. So there's no need to plug in a hybrid, making it both economical and fun to drive. And you don't have to replace your battery every 2 years. The CHR Hybrid is reliable, providing up to 1 million kilometers on the same battery and engine. Oh, and now you can save $2,000 off the Toyota CHR, starting at only $33,500.
That's way more than 3 reasons.
True, but the best one is that it's on sale now. Test drive the Toyota CHR today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road, while stocks last.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. This morning we're discussing honoring Women's Month here in the Cayman Islands. That conversation is taking place with Miss Ol Neandra Thompson, who's a parent facilitator at the Family Resource Center. Also with us, Miss Miles Ruby, also a parent facilitator at the Family Life Center. Well-known doctor in the Cayman Islands, Dr. DeAlvis, and another well-known doctor in the Cayman Islands, Dr. Darley Solomon. So we're going to shift the focus over to the 2 doctors now and talk to them about their involvement in celebrating Women's Month as well. Starting with you, Dr. DeAlvis. Good morning. Welcome,
Good morning, Mr. Connor. Great to meet you. Thank you for this honor. In Cayman Islands, we are dealing with a fairly well-educated, well-nourished society. They are quite privy to what's happening. They read the internet, they read books, and they generally know something about medical matters and so on. So the very fact that the 2 groups are doing a lot for the women, it's a great honor. And what is important is there are lots of young girls who have had children, and I think it's our duty to look after them and give them a start in life, because those children are the worst off children of all, because they grow up in an environment where the mother is alone and might meet the father and or may meet the father and the uncle. So there is not a steady atmosphere in the house. So those children will grow up to become the 5th category of criminals on society. In England it's called social class 5. So I think our primary objective, if we want to protect our children, is to look after those children. So we go all out to try and help them. And in other aspects for women's health, we do primary screening, which is vaccination with Gardasil and HPV vaccines. There are 3 vaccines. We are using Gardasil at the moment. And the secondary preventative methods are where we do pap smears, and if they are abnormal, we deal with them. So there is a lot of responsibility to look after these patients. It's not a foolproof system. If you do a pap smear in certain studies, 1 in 5 pap smears were found to be not quite accurate. In 1995, I was the only gynecologist for the hospital. Now there are 5. At that time, there was a pap smear done by a qualified doctor. 2 weeks later, she comes to casualty with a invasive carcinoma stage 3. But the pap smear 2 weeks before that was reported as normal. So people must be aware that there can be errors. Nobody is divine. So when a pathologist does something, he might make a mistake. And there are areas in which pap smears can be wrong. At the time of processing it and obtaining a pap smear, but some people can't find the cervix, so they do a brush on the vagina. And others, they put too much lubricant. Others, in the old days, they used to stain it with acetone and fix it on a cardboard. And that takes a day or 2 to go. And by the time it goes there's an error in the reading. Then there are instances where the pathologist is not adequately trained. And in England, they had to call back pap smears for the entire city about 10 years ago. So there are errors in our enterprise. But despite that, we must, as a team, work hard to make it a better country.
Okay. Over to you, Dr. Solomon.
I'm always happy to participate in anything that supports women, because 2 of the strongest influences on my life were women. My grandmother, my dear grandmother, who's long gone, but she used to get down on her knees and pray for me up into her 80s. And then my mother, who had a rigid backbone, stronger than most men I know, that raised me and told me common sense above all else. God first and then common sense. And so those 2 women have definitely impacted my life. And so whenever I can hold up women, I try to. As also the father of 2 young girls, I know some of the challenges that they'll face just being women. And so to me, the opportunity to support women is something that I couldn't pass up. And I actually headed up the initial thrust or drive for HPV vaccination at the time. So my kids were about 9 and 10, and once you see a 23-year-old with metastatic cervical cancer, it changes your life as a physician. You're like, that should never happen. And so HPV vaccine can prevent approximately 97% of cervical cancer. And also there are about 6 cancers that can be related to HPV, which is a human papillomavirus. There's cervical cancer, anal cancer, rectal cancer, throat cancer. So these things are preventable per se. And so anything you can do, and that's another thing my mother told me, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So if you can prevent something, it's better than treating it after it's there. And that leads me to comment on what we're going to do about teenage pregnancy in the Cayman Islands. Let's be honest. Let's be transparent. Let's say that's something we need to discuss and be open with. It's well enough to claim you're a Christian society, but when your preteens and teens are turning up pregnant, then you can't stick your head in the sand. You need to deal with it, address it. I'm a surgeon by nature, so when I see a problem, I try to fix it. And to me, a young girl being pregnant at 13, 14, 15, 16, before they leave school, it commits them to a life of burden. And anything we can do to prevent that, we should.
Mm-hmm. So ladies, from the medical standpoint, what sort of challenges that we face here in the Cayman Islands? We know that when it comes to, for instance, cancer, people are still, very private about that, very silent about that, while at the same time we encourage, people to talk about it so you can increase awareness. So during this month of March, from the health side of things, where will the focus be?
Well, we are having our annual Color Me Purple 5K, which will be the 27th at the Holiday Inn in Safe Haven, to help. And it's a family fun event, and we're encouraging families to come out and support the cause. We're also doing Ahsoka Beach Fit, which I'll let Oleandra talk about.
Definitely on health and wellness, and we want to promote everyone from all ages to attend, and that's where our health and wellness aspects would put into play and help supporting the cause as well.
Yeah,
in that aspect.
So will there be displays set up there, information booths? What else will you have during that event?
Definitely have instructors there present. If there's any questions pertaining to health and wellness or how I can better stay healthy, we'll definitely have instructors out there to support those questions.
We also had our volleyball tournament yesterday at Public Beach, which was very well attended. Another one of our fundraisers, and it just we were showing that women can participate in a lot of different types of activities to stay fit and stay healthy. Not only the 5K, but the volleyball, the Soka Fit, and we're also, when in regards to the young teen moms that we do service, we find that knowledge is power, and we need to educate our young girls and boys about teen pregnancy and about it's a choice. We have a I'm Worth the Wait program, which is a pregnancy prevention program that we go into the schools and talk to the kids about it's a choice, and when you think about it as a big decision and how it could impact your goals, your future goals, and what you want to do, we know that if a teen does become pregnant, it's going to be a burden. It's going to make it much harder for them to reach their goals. They're going to have a lot more barriers, and it's going to be harder to remove those barriers. It's like running a marathon with a sack of bricks versus someone that doesn't. And so we want to help them to learn that it's regardless of morals and values that or religion, this is a choice, and they have a choice. I think a lot of times some of the young girls may be misled or coerced, or there's a lot of myths. We do a lot of myth checking and fact checking, and some of the things that they believe is just out of this world. And so educating them and empowering them with that knowledge so that they can make a choice and not feel led down the wrong path or make a decision that they regret later.
Okay, so we've reached the top of the hour for 8 o'clock news. When we return from the 8 o'clock news, the discussion will continue about honoring Women's Month in the Cayman Islands, the month of March. That conversation will take place with Miss Oleandra Thompson, who's a parent facilitator at the Family Life Center. Ms. Miles Ruby, also a parent facilitator at the Family Life Center. Dr. DeAlvis and Dr. Solomon as well. So, folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Foster's is 7:59.
Ugh, these are delicious. What are they?
They're Savor Smith's Potato Crisps. I got them at Foster's.
And those burgers, are they plant-based?
They are, sure. They're the Very Good Butcher's plant-based burgers. I'm finding all my new favorites in the Foster's Finds catalog, and they're super easy to spot. I just look out for the blue shelf signs as I shop.
Foster's Finds are exclusively available at Foster's Camana Bay. Visit fosters.ky/finds to discover your new favorites. Foster's, better selection because we care.
Ugh, these are delicious. What are they?
They're Savor Smith's Potato Crisps. I got them at Foster's.
And those burgers, are they plant-based?
They are, sure. They're the Very Good Butcher's plant-based burgers. I'm finding all my new favorites in the Foster's Finds catalog, and they're super easy to spot. I just look out for the blue shelf signs as I shop.
Foster's fines are exclusively available at Foster's Camana Bay. Visit fosters.ky/fines to discover your new favorites. Foster's, better selection because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. According to the Overall Retail Network weekly analysis of the Cayman Islands done by the Utility and Competition Regulation Office, the average price of self-service regular gasoline has risen 2 cents to $5.12 a gallon since the last check on February 24th. Premium self-service gasoline rose 3 cents to $5.43, while diesel is holding steady at $4.97. For Grand Cayman, the cheapest self-service regular gasoline is reportedly being sold at Jose's, where Ofreg says it's $4.97 a self-service gallon. On the diesel side of things, Ofreg says the cheapest self-service option is Refuel, where it's selling for $4.50 a gallon. According to AAA, the average price of gasoline in Florida has risen significantly to $4 U.S. for regular and $4.61 for premium. More than 500 people turned out Sunday night to show solidarity with the people of Ukraine at a fundraising event at Rackham's waterfront. Funds raised go to the Ukrainian Red Cross in support of the Ukrainian people. His Excellency, the Governor Martin Roper, says the invasion of Ukraine by Russia is a violation of international law and the UN Charter. He says if bigger countries invade smaller ones because they're more powerful, the, quote, international rules-based order that has brought prosperity and stability for decades is at risk. And the Cayman Islands Arts Festival is bringing algorithms to big screen as part of its 2022 array of festival events. CAF's Marius Gaina explains Algorithms is a documentary on the thriving but little-known world of blind chess in India.
And it's about a group of boys that they dream of becoming chess masters, driven by a man with a vision. But this is not ordinary chess, and these are not ordinary players. With something new, something that brings an aspect of chess that you don't expect. And it's not even about sometimes chess and people with disabilities. It's about hard working. It's about trying to push your limits no matter what to succeed.
Algorithms documentary screening is taking place tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the Camana Bay Cinema. Tickets are going for $12.50 for adults, $9 for students. You can get your tickets at the Camana Bay Cinema or online at tickets.fandango.com. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News, with Jerry Smith. The French President Emmanuel Macron has condemned what he called Vladimir Putin's moral and political cynicism over the issue of humanitarian corridors. Earlier, Ukraine rejected the idea of corridors from Kharkiv and Kiev leading to Russia and Belarus, calling it completely immoral. The top official said Russia was trying to manipulate Mr. Macron into suggesting such corridors be set up. Ukraine says 2,000 people have crossed a river to get out of one suburb of Kyiv. Authorities in Hostomel say the mayor was shot dead while distributing bread. 4 people were killed in the city of Kharkiv when a supermarket came under Russian fire. In the south, there have been rocket strikes in Mykolaiv. More than 1 million refugees have reached Poland. Over 40,000 people arrived just this morning. UN officials are worried at the increasing numbers of people trying to escape. Stock markets have been hit by investors' uncertainty over the conflict. Fears about Russian supplies pushed up energy prices. Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India has urged Vladimir Putin to hold talks with his Ukrainian counterpart. Mr. Modi's office says Mr. Putin briefed him on Russian negotiations with Ukraine. South Africa's president is calling for the UN to do more to support a negotiated agreement between Russia and Ukraine. Cyril Ramaphosa said his own country's experience, including the ending of apartheid, was proof that opposing sides could be brought together to find peace. In other news, researchers at Johns Hopkins University in the United States say coronavirus is now known to have killed more than 6 million people worldwide. And devout Buddhists in Sri Lanka are mourning a revered elephant that died aged 68. And those are the latest stories from BBC News.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest